So, is someone in line for a surprise return to Rangers? And I'll talk about why that is not a good idea shortly. Also, is Mr. Jose Cordoba about to snub Rangers in favour of a move to the English Championship to not even the biggest team in East Anglia? Yes, we're going to talk about that as well. And a little look ahead, obviously, to the Cup final with Philippe Clement talking about his squad selection dilemmas and issues and preparation problems going into the Cup final on Saturday. Well, let's start off by talking a little bit about Sam Lammers. Sam Lammers, who has undergone somewhat of a miracle rebirth during his loan spell at Utrecht in Holland, looking like an actual footballer after looking pretty average at Rangers, and that's being kind. Lammers is an enigma. So is Dessers. We sound a lot of enigmas, don't we? Anyway, let's get away from that. So, yeah, he's an enigma. He's a player who, when he was at Rangers at the start of the season, looked below average, looked very, very poor, despite having people starting to draw rather wrongly, and I'm probably guilty of this myself, Brian Laudrup comparisons to him during pre-season. And then as soon as the season kicked in, he was just shocking, absolutely awful. Some people now argue that the reason for that was that he was played in his wrong position, that he should have been played as an out-and-out nine. Now, look, Craig Moore, speaking to media, has suggested that he thinks that Sam Lammers should be given an opportunity at Rangers next season, given his fantastic turnaround in form, and that he should be given a chance to rebuild his Rangers career. Now, look, who am I to disagree with Craig Moore? Obviously, ex-footballer, ex-technical director, etc., etc. But I hear some Rangers fans as well saying, let's bring back Sam Lammers as well, given his recent form. Now, this would be a mistake. This would be a huge, huge error. We are far better shipping Lammers out, getting the money back for him now that we paid for him last summer, or even hopefully making a slight profit on him. Why, though, you ask? Why is this a mistake? Well, look, if you look across his career, his success has always come in the Eredivisie. He's never been successful out of the Eredivisie. He struggled in Holland, he struggled in Germany, he struggled in Italy, he struggled in Scotland. He is at home playing in his own native land. And some players are like this. Some players are amazing in their own homeland, but they send them abroad and they struggle. I mean, one of the most classic examples, one of the best strikers in British football history, Ian Rush, for example, was absolutely outstanding during his time at Liverpool. Yeah, he goes to Juventus and utterly flops. They bring him back to Liverpool and he's a success again. There are some players that just cannot succeed out of their own homeland. And stats more than bear this out. You look at Sam Lammers' stats, and you look at how he's performed in other competitions, and they quite clearly demonstrate that it's the Eredivisie where he feels most at home. I mean, if you look at that, he's made 69 appearances, scored 30 goals and 9 assists in the Eredivisie. So 39 goal contributions in just 69 games. 30 goals in 69 games. That's 1 in 2. Now, if you were looking at that, and that was the only stat you had to go by, you would say that's an outstanding striker. That's a brilliant striker. The Keuken Kamploen Divisie, yes, massacred it again. That is the Dutch second tier kind of Dutch youth setup. 30 goals in 63 games, 10 goal contributions, 40 goal contributions in 63. Again, you look at that and you think, wow, outstanding, amazing. The under 19 Eredivisie, 13 goals in 26, 1 in 2. Again, you look at that and think, wow, outstanding, amazing, unbelievable. But then you go beyond that and you start to look at the wider picture now. And you look at him out of Holland, 4 goals in 30 appearances in Serie A for Atalanta and Sampdoria, 2 appearances, 1 assist in 17 games for Rangers, 1 goal in 15 Bundesliga appearances, 1 goal in 13 Europa League appearances. 1 goal in 5 Champions League qualifier appearances. No goals in 2 Italian Cup games, no goals in a Champions League appearance, no goals in a Europa League qualifying. You look at those stats, and it quite clearly bears out that Lammers can score goals, create chances, and be an outstanding player at home in the Eredivisie. But take him out of the Eredivisie, take him out of his comfort zone, send him abroad to Italy, to Germany, to Scotland, and he spectacularly falls flat on his face and looks like a very poor footballer. And to me, if I'm Sam Lammers and I'm sitting and I'm thinking about my future, I would be pushing as much as I can. And look, I personally would love to play for Rangers. I'd run through a brick wall to play for Rangers. Of course I would. But if I'm Sam Lammers and I look at what I've done in my career and I want a successful end to my career, and he's moving towards the end of his career, he's not, 21, 22, the Eredivisie has to be where he stays. And, the fact that obviously Utrecht are interested, allegedly Feyenoord, allegedly 20 Ashende, I would be pushing for that move. And, hopefully somebody at Rangers, in the know, someone like Niels Koppen, someone like Philippe Clement, someone like one of the Craig Robertson or one of the scouts is looking at those stats and looking at those facts and figures and thinking, yeah, he's done a great job for Utrecht and he's scored a lot of goals and assists. But he's done that in the past in the Eredivisie with PSV and Herenveen. But and he's done it with Utrecht now. But he's never done it outside of that. He didn't do it with Atalanta. He didn't do it with Sampdoria. He didn't do it with Eintracht Frankfurt. He did not do it, with us. So at the end of the day, for me, bringing him back and saying, well, let's play him as a 9 next season and see what he can do, I think would be a huge, huge mistake, not only for us as a club, but for Sam Lammers as a player as well. And look, I've got no ill feeling towards Sam. I wish Sam every success, and I hope that he does move back to Holland this summer, and I hope that he goes on to have a sparkling career in the Eredivisie for whichever team he eventually signs for. I really do. I've got nothing against the lad, but like I said, bringing him back would be a huge mistake if you look at the statistics and you look at the way he plays in Holland compared to the way he plays outside of Holland. I think they're undeniable. I mean, feel free to disagree with me, but I think they're undeniable. Okay, so let's move on to talk about Jose Cordoba. Jose Cordoba is the Panamanian international left side centre-back who Rangers had allegedly agreed a contract with, and it was a case of agreeing a fee with Levski Sofia. The deal was thought to be around 2.7 million to secure the services of the very talented Panamanian centre-back. Now, it emerged yesterday, however, that an English Championship club, namely Norwich City, are allegedly interested in trying to hijack Rangers' transfer of Jose Cordoba. Now, Norwich City, who were very recently humbled in the playoff semi-final 4-0 by Leeds United, and I won't be going up this season, sacked their manager, David Wagner, despite having a very good season. And obviously will be moving into a rebuilding phase themselves as they seek to build a squad capable of getting back to the English Premiership. Now, according to reports down south of the border and in East Anglia itself, Cordoba is thought to favour a move to the English Championship and to Norwich City, according to what has been reported in his native Panama and also in Bulgaria. Now, I can't help but feel with this news, it very much is coming down to money. English clubs do have a substantially larger budget than ourselves and Celtic. It is a pure fact. I know there are PSR concerns from certain clubs down south of the border, but with the new PSR regulations where clubs can spend just over 80% of their revenue on player signings and player wages, etc., those clubs in the top 10 in England, who are European qualifiers, who are getting the substantial weight of the Sky TV money, have substantially massive budgets. Also, the teams in the Championship now have brand new money that has just come in because of their new TV deal. The English Championship, the EFL, have just signed a brand new TV deal with Sky, which is worth substantially more than their previous TV deal. Seemingly that those in the know at the EFL know how to do a TV deal. Neil Doncaster, please take note. Now, it's felt that Norwich could offer Cordoba more wages than we can offer him and would offer slightly more cash as well in the transfer for Cordoba to Levski Sofia. Now, if these reports are true, and of course, I don't know if they're true, this is what is being suggested, and we are in transfer silly season. And during transfer silly season, let's face it, reports bandy back and forth. And until Fabrizio Romano talks about it being a definite or whatever, I think we do obviously take everything with a little pinch of salt. But if Jose Cordoba is really considering joining Norwich City over Rangers, I think that sends a clear message for me. Number one, that he is a mercenary, that he is only about the money. Look, Norwich are not guaranteed to be in the promotion shake-up next season. You've got a situation where whoever loses the playoff final between Southampton and Leeds will still be getting parachute payments next season. You've got the 3 clubs who come down from the Premier League this season, Luton, Sheffield United and Burnley, who will all be getting parachute payments. And we've seen this season how those 3 teams have utterly how those 3 relegated teams dominated the English Championship. You've also got other clubs like West Bromwich Albion, for example. You've got, they've got a substantial amount of cash. Middlesbrough as well. There's a lot of clubs in there who'll be pushing for promotion. So there is no guarantee that Norwich will push their way to the top of that pile and will get themselves into the Premier League. Now, for Cordoba to choose a championship club, a much smaller championship club, a club that isn't even the biggest in East Anglia, to be over Rangers, who are a huge, massive European name, who have European football every season, who compete for trophies every season, who can offer, obviously, Ibrox is a huge ground with over 50,000, is just, I think, shows that he is not the player that perhaps we thought he was, that he is a man who is solely about the money. And look, I don't blame footballers for going where the money is. I'm not saying that that's wrong, because let's face it, we all would do it. Even if you love your job, if the competitor down the road offers you triple your wages or double your wages, you take it. Of course you do. We're not stupid. But for me, it sends a message that Cordoba is clearly about the money. And if that's what he's about, he's interested in purely in the money, then that is not the types of players we need at Rangers. We need people who want to be here, that want to play for this club, that have a strong desire to fight for that shirt. And I know that's kind of slipping away in more recent times, because players are not like that. They are more about the money. But if that's the case, if it is that Cordoba, is thinking that Norwich City is a better bet for him than Rangers, then for me, we move on from him. We go and look elsewhere. I'm sure that Niels Koppen has a list of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 centre backs that he'll be targeting this summer. All clubs do it. They draw up a primary list, obviously their top target, their secondary targets, and so on. And like I said, if it is that he wants to choose Norwich City, well, let him go. Good luck to him. All the best. But don't come to Rangers if you think Norwich City is a better bet than us, because you are quite clearly just wrong. Right. So let's look ahead to this cup final. We are obviously in the midst of one of the worst injury crises in this club's history. It is utterly ludicrous how many injuries this club has at this moment in time. Missing key players like Danilo, like Oscar Cortez, like John Suter, like Connor Goldson, players that are just missing and have been missing for long periods of this season. And Philippe Clement is quite clearly in a very difficult position as he tries to prepare his squad for this weekend's game. It must be awkward, when you start a week preparing a team for a Saturday game or a cup final. You kind of want to have in your mind a clear starting 11 that you want to work with, that you want to develop a cohesion between, push into the tactics, move them, get them working on the set pieces, get them working on defensive sets, on attacking sets, and be ready when they go out there from the minute one to actually go at it and to fight and to play. And I think, some of what perhaps has gone into Rangers' slow starts this season might well be because of the fact that Clement is not getting the players from day one to prepare them for the weekend fixture. He's getting these players coming back in at the end of the week, at the mid of the week. So preparing a team and getting a cohesion there and getting a clear vision of how you want to play is going to be difficult. And I think, that perhaps sort of partly, not completely, but partly explains our constant slow starts to games and why it takes us a good 45 minutes to get up to pace. Now, Philippe Clement, speaking to the media, said this. He says, "I don't know yet what the story will be. A player could be fit on Friday and play some minutes. I need to wait until that moment. I don't like this situation, but it's been that way for a few weeks. We are going to see in the week. So that in that way, it is difficult for me to plan the starting 11 and what players are going to make." It's a spot on comment. It is absolutely correct. I mean, none of us like this situation. And Clement has been very, very clear throughout the season that he does not like the situation that he finds himself in with these constant injuries. Coming from a clubs where he's had 95% availability. So I think, this is decent. This is correct. He's got a clear vision on this, but it is right in what he says. It is very difficult for him to plan a starting 11, to prepare a team to play. And in what is a massively crucial game, it's a game where we can win a cup double, stop them from winning a domestic double, stop them from drawing level with us on the number of trophies won. It's a huge game. It's absolutely massive, this game. And Clement is in a very difficult position. And, hopefully when he has his presser on Friday, we'll find out a little bit more about what is being, about who is ready, who is fit, who is good to go. And hopefully we'll see that, that some of these players who've been out, some of these players who've been missing, or some of these players who've played limited minutes in the last few weeks are ready and good to go again. I kind of partially think that this is the last game of the season. It's not a time to protect. It's not a time to have what ifs at the end of the 90 or 120 minutes. For me, the likes of Seema, the likes of Ridvan, you play them. You just put them out there and you play them. Even if you can only get 45 minutes to an hour out of them, you play them from minute one, because you need your best players, your best starting 11 out there from the first minute. Because we've seen too many times this season Celtic get the upper hand in Old Firm games, take the lead, take the control of the game, and then we're playing catch up. We can't allow that to happen on Saturday in the cup final. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in this morning's news video. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Please obviously smash that like and smash the sub to help us to keep on growing. And on the way out, 2 things I always ask of you. Number 1, smash the like, it beats the algorithm. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.